Jim, what are your thoughts on the Bret Hart-Owen Hart feud? Though not on creative, you were around at the beginning, Survivor Series 93, and near the end, Survivor Series 94. I always thought this was a bright spot for WWE. Also, Jim, who in the last 15 years would you have loved to have seen Owen work with?
Oh, gosh. Owen with any of the, and of course, once again, I'm not up on the really modern generation, like the last 3 years of mostly indie darlings. When I do see them, they're doing something stupid. But of anybody on the Ring of Honor roster of the generation I was dealing with from 2009 to 2012, Cole, O'Reilly, Owen would have loved kids like that, but also Jay Lethal, and really Richards, Edwards, Roderick Strong, you can go on and on. Anybody up and down, mostly on the roster that really could go. Owen would have loved working with guys like that. Because he was a child prodigy his rookie year. Remember when he was the first guy, once that tape trading had really caught on by like 86, 87. What was his first year?
86.
Somewhere 86. Tape trading had really caught on. Stampede Wrestling from Calgary was hot with the tape traders, and Owen Hart, now in the newsletters, was the greatest wrestler who ever lived in his rookie year.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's, and to be honest, he wasn't the greatest wrestler that ever lived, but he was potentially at that point the greatest rookie I'd ever seen. Because he grew up around the family and watching the people train in the dungeon, and he got the business and he understood it, and he had such great personality. As far as his feud with Bret, it was a bright spot for me, because it was like, okay, we're watching this WWF style stuff, and all of a sudden here's a Stampede match, kind of, but it's big budget. So you had the best of both worlds. You had the great production, but you actually had work in the match. It's hard to pull a brother thing off, and sometimes people have shit on it in the past. The Andersons, Lars was on the outs with Ole and Gene for a while there in Georgia, and et cetera, but can you think of another more high-profile feud with brothers in a major promotion that had better matches and actually got over better because the people kind of believed that Owen was that little Weasley fucker that got tired of being in Bret's shadow? I think it was the best brother deal I can think of. I can't think of another one. A lot of promotions in the old days wouldn't do it because they were afraid people wouldn't believe it. And actually, I remember they would have matches in Louisville when there was a period of time where Al Green, as he was retiring, he was a heel, but he was a manager / wrestler. Sometimes he'd manage, sometimes he'd wrestle, blah, 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 his last couple of years in the business. And Don Green, because he was always one of Nick Goulas's favorite guys, he was, when Don and Al Green were not the top heel team in the territory anymore, Don was used as a single babyface. And so they would, that last little year or two that Al wrestled, they'd have periods where Al would be a heel in like a 6-man or 8-man tag on the other side of Don, and they would make a point never to touch each other. They'd never tag in together, just because people would, So, but Bret and Owen carried it off, and it was a great reason for it. I really enjoyed the whole thing. It was a bright spot.
When you talk about guys who, in their rookie year, people start going crazy about, it doesn't happen that often. It actually happened twice in the same year. If you remember 1986, Owen was a rookie. Bam Bam Bigelow was a rookie.
That's right. And of course, Bam Bam, they weren't saying was the greatest wrestler of all time, but they were saying, wow, this big man. Because Owen was better with the fundamentals and was flashier and could do more flying shit. But Bam Bam, for that size and that look, and we talked about this on the show not long ago. For whatever reason, you've got that fucking guy standing in front of you, a real life badass from fucking the Jersey Shore with tattoos of flames on his fucking head, weighs 400 pounds, can drop kick and cartwheel. And past his first year in Memphis, when Lawler knew what, they never made him a true monster again. And I never figured that one out either. And he could work too. You would not get hurt. It would look like you were getting hurt, but you wouldn't get hurt with Bam Bam.